It is the 99th Territorial Cup. Arizona versus Arizona State. Damon, we say it all the time, but this time we mean it. It means everything.
Welcome on into the AZ Wildcats podcast, live from Studio K, presented by our friends over at Circle K. I am, of course, Damon Fairall. He's Kevin Thomas. We are the AZ Wildcats pod. And Kevin Thomas, do we have ourselves a football game to talk about today? You said it means everything. It well and truly does. As well as, you know what else means everything? Our presenting sponsors who make it so we can do this fine podcast for you folks. Head on over to brandedbills.com, use promo code BBPHNX, get 15% off your first order over at brandedbills.com. Go check out that campus collection for yourself. And of course, check out Captain Morgan. Check out that pirate ship that they have here in the state of Arizona, Kevin, until November 29th. Check out their social channels, find out where that pirate ship is, and go hang out on it for yourself. I know our guys over at PHNX Sun Devils are hanging out on it right now. A little bit jealous. That's all good, though. We're not going to be jealous after this game is over, or at least we're hoping, Kevin, because as I said, this is an important game, right? It's just a little bit important here, and it will, of course, impact my own happiness and thoughts and feelings about myself, self-confidence level for the next, I don't know, calendar year until the next Territorial Cup happens, but it's a big one. We're excited to get out there into Tempe and hang out and watch this first half before coming back to the studio. Kevin, how are we feeling? How are we living? And how are the vibes going into a massive, massive Territorial Cup?
Man, this means absolutely everything, Damon. The chance to have a potential 10-win season on the line, bragging rights for the next year on the line. This is a podcast-altering, program-shifting type of game. It's the best Territorial Cup, most consequential Territorial Cup, and I do not know how long. I feel like you have to go back quite some time to get a Territorial Cup where not only are both teams ranked, but there is a potential appearance in the conference championship on the line for one of the teams. There's a lot at stake here, not only for you and me, but for those two teams out there as well.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You talk about the nerve level. You talk about, kind of just how massively important this game is in terms of the direction of both programs, right? And I think, ASU fans will be the first to tell you that they're not fully healthy, that this is, it wasn't a real win if Arizona gets the W, but we all know that's not the truth. They're still a good football team. Jeff Sims has lost exactly this many games that Sam Leavitt would have won this season. And that goes to show kind of the caliber of coaching, defense, running game that this team does in fact have over in Tempe. And while I think Arizona has had a better season and is playing better football right now, this is still a game that is, of course, it's a rivalry game. They're going to give everything. It's you really can throw the record books out in this game. But when the records are the same, I don't even know if you want to do that, because it just goes to show how competitive this matchup well and truly should be.
That is very, very true, Damon. And this rivalry has been contentious ever since both teams joined the Big 12, especially in terms of football. It's been contentious forever, since before this state was even a state, the Freedom State, as we call it on this podcast. But I will say, I feel like once they joined the Big 12 and Arizona State did what they did last year, this year became a lot more important in terms of making sure everyone understands, no, these programs are not as far apart as you think. And I think judging by the betting line, they might even be going in the same direction. So it means a lot, Damon, but this would not be a pregame show if we did not start with some shots fired, presented by our friends over at Three Amigos Tequila. Now, this is a very special occasion. We did polish off a bottle of some Ramona's Reserve, but the good friends over at Three Amigos Tequila, they came through, they dropped off all the goodies, a bunch of restocking going on, a bunch of shot glasses going on. And as you know, we got to fire off some shots. So Damon, pull out that bottle of Ramona's Reserve, show it off to the people. I will show off our Three Amigos shot glass. If I can get it in focus, there it is. What a beautiful, beautiful shot glass filled up with that Ramona's Reserve. Shots fired during rivalry week, Damon. This could go in any direction.
It's hard to choose one.
It is. You could go in the, burnerverse direction with some really niche, deep cuts. You could go on some surface level stuff, call him Tempe normal. You could do whatever. You could go after Jeff Sims. You could go after Kenny Dillingham. You can go after Jordyn Tyson. Hell, you could even go after Sam Leavitt and Cam Scadaboo themselves. However, I think for my shots fired, I'm going to go at ASU fans. Mostly not because I have any sort of inherent hate against them just because they went to the ASU, even though they don't make it hard for me to have that hatred towards them. But I will say this much. They have maybe been the most delusional fan base in the Big 12 this season. And by that, I mean coming into the year saying, we're the Big 12 champions. We're going to repeat as Big 12 champions this year.
We're going to get better.
We're going to get better because Sam Leavitt's going to be a Heisman candidate playing with the best receiver in the country in Jordyn Tyson. And we don't even need Cam Scadaboo, even though it was a blessing that they had. And then you get into the year and you have a slew of, to be generous, I think, to be conservative with it, underwhelming performances. The fan base would tell us it's all good. It's all fine. Losing to Mississippi State, they're an SEC team, bottom of the barrel, but they're an SEC team yet still. And we need respect for going into that cowbell, cow hell, and trying to get a win. We dared to be great and go into Mississippi State, right? You're like, okay, bro, you still got it. Hey, it's not even Big 12 play, right? All your predictions technically still in play. Sam Leavitt continues to underwhelm. The offense continues to, slack behind where it was last year. The defense holds up pretty well. You do get some unfortunate injuries mixed in there, and you can't control that, and you don't want that to happen. I'm not rooting for that, no matter what team it is. But they did unfortunately happen, and the team kept kind of underwhelming expectations. But Jeff Sims comes in, plays pretty well, takes over the reins, doesn't crash the car, is leading you to some wins. And now, because you sit at 8-3, and because if the moon flipped upside down and the sun turned to jelly, maybe you could make the Big 12 championship. I guess that makes it all okay. All the mispredictions, all the hate on Twitter, all of the yelling at people for simply criticizing a quarterback, it makes it all okay. So my shots are going to be fired at every ASU fan that told me they're Big 12 champions, they're an SEC quality team, they're the next West Coast dynasty, that Kenny Dillingham is Jesus reborn, that Sam Leavitt is going to be the greatest quarterback that ever walked on turf. And yeah, let's just see how this game goes. There's a lot of pride on the line, but regardless, I think we can all admit when we've been wrong in this life. And this shot goes to every ASU fan that was wrong about their season so far.
Perfectly fair, Kevin. Go ahead and take that Ramona's Reserve shot and enjoy it, my guy. But
man, I miss Ramona.
I mean, you said it great. Like it's one thing to have high expectations for your team. It's another thing when we watch the results play out on the field and then you guys are actively lying to us about the caliber of your team. Mississippi State, Kevin, just finished 5-7 on the season.
Yeah, but they're
not even a bowl team. They went 1-7 in the SEC. Are they an SEC team? Yeah. They went 1-7 in the SEC. They look a little bit more like a Sun Belt team, of which was also a fairly close game when you played a bad Sun Belt team in Texas State. I mean, every game all season long, ASU's played nothing but close games, and it doesn't matter to their fan base the contextualization of what happens on the field. All they care about is the record. And that's fair, I guess, to an extent. Like, that's the most important aspect. I'm not saying it's not. You'd rather win and look like shit doing it like ASU has all season long than lose and like look pretty good, I guess.
Yeah.
Right? Like ASU or like U of A against BYU or something. But that's just not reality. Arizona looks like they're trending right here, and ASU looks like they're kind of trending down here. I'm not going to say it's as steep as a slope as the rise of the Wildcats here, but they're not playing their best football right now. That's not what their fan base will have you believe, though.
Yeah.
And I guess it's up to the Wildcats to prove that tonight. That this is when you look at ASU's schedule, like they had an easier back half of their schedule, And it benefited them with the Jeff Sims, Sam Leavitt injury, where Jeff Sims is still good enough to beat these teams that are on the schedule, the West Virginias, the Colorados of the world, right? But is Jeff Sims good enough to win those TCU and those Baylor games earlier in the season? I mean, I would venture to guess no, right? And so now we'll see what it looks like when they have to actually play an opponent that is the caliber of a team that is not going to let you just go in and out physical them, out coach them, outplay them in the aspects of the game that don't necessarily have to do with playing quarterback. I think Arizona has to make this a QB for QB game. Like my guy versus your guy. He needs to make throws to beat us. And so we'll see what that looks like tonight. Great shots fired, Kevin. Now, as you said, there's so many different directions I could take this.
There's more than 99.
There really is. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, man, like, can I really hone it down to just a person or a couple people? And, I think ASU fans, like, I would take that, but I would expand upon it and say, not the real fans, not the fans that are going to actually shake your hand, look you in the eye, and explain why they think their team is better than yours. I respect those people, of which there are plenty of them, let me add. And I don't want to group all ASU fans in together, but the ASU burnerverse, what a bunch of tools, dude. And there are some of them that are cool, no doubt about it, but a lot of them are just straight up dickheads, if I'm being completely honest with you. And they've been like, not only have they just been overtly wrong about their team all season long, but they've been like demonstrably like mean about it too. And they take shots at your profession and the way you look and all these things. And it's like, dude, this is a sports rivalry. I love it more than anybody. I love the banter. Anybody that has watched this show before knows that about me, right? And like the crap talk back and forth, I love it. I live for it. But there are so many people that just take this to such a personal level. And it's like, we all live in the same damn state, people. Like
the freedom state.
Yeah, 100%. And we really are a lot more alike than dissimilar, but that doesn't go for our compatriots over here at PHNX Sun Devils. Screw Eric, screw Totri. My shots fired is at them. They've been talking mess all season long, telling us at Frisco, Kevin, and the Big 12 Media Day, I think I'm buying in on Brennan ball. Then going on to their show over here in Studio A that they do every day and being like, they're not going to win a game the rest of the season when Arizona's like 4-1. Like wild stuff was going on that podcast. They don't even believe half the shit that they say. They really don't. They just say it to fire people up like me, I guess. So maybe it worked. But you know what? I guess this is shots fired. So there's no better time to get fired up. If we win this game, Kevin, the nastiness on the social media streets might be untouched to a level that we have not seen before. And it will be earned, deserved, and well worth it from the ASU fan perspective with all the things that they've been saying all offseason long. 11-1, 10-2. Oh, it only happened because Sam Leavitt was hurt. I bet. All I want is the W. The history books don't remember people getting hurt. Otherwise, 2017, why don't we go back ahead and make that one a W when Cole Tate got hurt at halftime with the lead, and then our incompetent offense with Brandon Dawkins was unable to get another score the rest of the game. I'm willing to trade that off if that's what you want, but I guarantee you that's not how ASU fans saw that game going, right? They just see it as they won the game because, Manny Wilkins is the best. Manny Wilkins is awesome. It's like, that's not how history remembers things at all. All that I care about is this win today. I don't care how it looks. This is a rivalry game. Let's get the W, and let's make fun of Eric and Totri afterwards.
Shots fired, presented by our friends over at Three Amigos Tequila. I love our friends over at Three Amigos Tequila. Make sure to check out that Ramona's Reserve. And in addition to all the other great varieties of tequila that they have. Damon, you mentioned getting a W in this one. Let's talk some keys to victory.
Let's do it.
In this one. Key number 1 to the victory, win the turnover battle.
Yep.
And that kind of leads into key number 2. We can just talk about them kind of in tandem. Force Sims to pass the ball, because Jeff Sims, for all that he is good at, is not an elite level thrower of the football. Arizona's passing defense, though, is elite. And if you're going to win this game, it has to look that exact way. It has to look like Jeff Sims, is a mediocre quarterback trying to get past an elite level secondary.
Yeah.
Genesis Smith, Traden Stukes, Dalton Johnson, all of the corners in this one, you got to be on point, especially because you're going up against Jordyn Tyson and Shimon Mateer, who are very highly talented pass catchers, which we'll get into during our matchup battles. But yeah, got to make Sims pass the ball. Got to force turnovers off of those passes, or one of those Genesis Smith, iconic running in from the secondary, punching the ball out, forcing a fumble. But you have to win the turnover battle in this one, especially when you're on the road, and you have to make Jeff Sims throw that ball because he is not what he is best at.
Let me expand upon those two topics for a second. I think from the turnover battle standpoint, there's going to be times where Jeff Sims puts the ball on the turf. You got to recover those fumbles. We saw it against BYU at the end of the game. Genesis Smith does that punch to Bear Bachmeier, who has been making winning plays at the end of games all season long. That's probably the worst play he made, and no one even remembers it because guess who recovered it? BYU for a first down that was 8.5 yards. Different story. The ball is going to be on the turf from Jeff Sims' standpoint, in my opinion, in this game, maybe multiple times. You got to find a way to recover those fumbles because that turnover battle, winning on the margins like that, is how you're going to end up winning this football game, especially versus two really good defenses. And then making Jeff Sims throw the football, I would imagine Arizona is going to dare Jeff Sims to throw the football. Yeah. 7 in the box, 4 DBs back against 4 wide receivers, single coverage type of stuff. And let's call it like it is. They have the best receiver in the conference on their team. Jordyn Tyson is an incredible football player. He's great at catching 50-50 balls in particular. Danny Gonzales said that about him this week. He's going to have an opportunity, I think, a couple of times in this game to make big plays deep down the field. It's about whether Jeff Sims can throw an accurate enough ball that it's going to get there and be in a spot where Jordyn Tyson can catch it. And it's going to be about whether Jordyn Tyson comes down with those catches. I think that those plays are going to be game-changing type of plays. If Arizona can hold Jordyn Tyson, similar to how we held N'Keal Harry, if you remember back in the day, in a game we did end up losing, I will add, but a game that, we easily should have won at a 40-21 lead going into the fourth quarter. N'Keal Harry was going into that matchup. It was like, he's going to destroy these freshman Arizona corners because we were playing safeties out of position that were freshmen at corner. And Arizona was able to hold him, fairly at bay while stacking the box. I need to see the same tonight versus Jordyn Tyson. What can Javion Cole do? What can Michael Dansby do? Can they hold him in check in single coverage? I think it's going to be massive.
It is. And then moving into key number 3, a strong run game. We talked a lot about the defense, but on offense, you're going to have to win this game somehow. And while we know that Noah Fifita is one of, if not the best quarterback in this conference, pound for pound from a skills perspective, I do not think that you should be relying on him to win this game outright by himself. I think you do need backup from his running backs. I think you do need good protection from the offensive line. I think you do need to keep Arizona State's defense honest. And I think that means a couple explosive runs from Nishmael Mahdi or Kedrick Risano will really help out Noah Fifita. And so I think the offense tonight, its success starts with the run game.
I think it's very fair. You don't want to get in a place where you're being one-dimensional on offense, just passing the football over and over again. I think Seth Doege needs to call, maybe outside of Houston, his best game of the entire season to win tonight. This ASU defense is really good. Brian Ward is a hell of a defensive coordinator. As much as their offense has taken a absolutely monumental dip without Cam Scadaboo, and that is a fact. If you're an ASU fan and that hurts your feelings, I advise you to go look up the statistics on that. 8 points per game less this season on offense. Pretty significant. But the defense is every bit as good as it was last year. They've played a pretty tough schedule, and the defense has been the reason that they've been in all of these games. I think they're also particularly good against the run, Kevin. So we're going to see what that looks like tonight. I think Arizona is at its best when it's playing a more balanced offensive system rather than just expecting Noah Fifita to play Superman all night long. I love those keys. I'll add one more that I think is important. I think you got to get off to a fast start.
Yeah.
ASU is a terrible first quarter team. They haven't scored a touchdown outside of NAU in the first quarter all season long. Jeff Sims, if I win the toss, I'm giving Jeff Sims the football. Take it. Show us that you can go put a lead on the board right now. And I want ball at the start of the second half when Arizona has proven that they are a second half football team all year long, right? So let's see what Jeff Sims has got early on. I hope he gets the ball first. And I hope Arizona takes advantage of a team that likes to start slow and really get into the game as it goes on, likes to win late, really. If this game is tied or ASU has a lead in the fourth quarter, I'm not feeling great about it because they're a really good fourth quarter team. I need a lead going into the fourth quarter, and that starts with getting a fast start in the first half. let's see Arizona get off to a first half fast start.
Well said. I love that addition to the key because I myself am going to be looking for Arizona first quarter money line bets with our friend over at Bet365 if they offer that. And so, Damon, we've talked about the keys. Let's talk about the personnel with our matchup battles for this one. Starting off with the quarterback, Noah Fifita, our guy, is going to be winning this matchup.
Can we put 6 arrows or like 7 or maybe like 25? Like literally, let's put as many arrows as possible on this side, because I think that sometimes you look at these graphics and one arrow is equal to 1 arrow.
Yeah.
But like when we're looking at like the running game for ASU, and to which is really good and better than Arizona's, don't get me wrong, their running backs are great, but it is not the same ASU advantage as Arizona at quarterback.
Yes.
Noah Fifita is miles better than Jeff Sims at quarterback. Not even close. And that's how you're going to have to win this game tonight, is your leader, your captain, the entire program, if you will, just going out there and saying, I'm better than this bum across the way from me. So let's go Arizona on the quarterback side of things. Running backs, as I said, Riley Brown is a damn good player. And I think that he's the best running back in this game. I'm also kind of factoring in Jeff Sims to that kind of aspect, because Jeff Sims is a really good runner. I expect Arizona State's offense to do a lot of what Connor Wigman did to Arizona in the Houston game. A lot of what Bear Bachmeier did in the second half in the BYU game. A lot of quarterback power, straight up the gut, make us stop them. Got to do it then, right? Because we didn't do it in those 2 games in particular. It was the reason Arizona lost. We thought Cincinnati was going to do that to us, and then Brendan Sorsby got hurt, and it kind of threw a wrench into that equation. Cincinnati probably couldn't play the way of offense that they wanted to play for much of the game. So I think Jeff Sims is going to run the football a lot of QB powers, a lot of read options, and you're going to need to find a way to stop that.
You're going to need to find a way to stop the quarterback power. You're also going to need to find a way to navigate over to our website, where you can participate in the Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales. We're talking up to 90% off. Like, if you're not taking part in this, you just hate deals. And there's no other way to put it. But I also want to say this. You see that shirt in the top right, I guess middle, bottom right, whatever you want to call it, that Sun Devil shirt? We got to sell more Wildcat stuff than they're dealing Sun Devil stuff, because we got to let the higher-ups know that in PHNX, we rock with the Wildcats. And that's how I need y'all to show your respect for this podcast and this team, this program, by participating in this Black Friday sale that we got going on. You're going to continue to hear us talking about it, but I would listen to us the first time and go over to our website at gophnx.com and navigate over to the merch tab and participate in this great sale. Now, back to matchup battles. Pass catchers are the same. Damon, why is that the case?
I think pass catchers are the same because Jordyn Tyson is far and away the best receiver that is on the field tonight, but the rest of ASU's weaponry, they inspire zero. I mean, I shouldn't say confidence because I'm not an ASU guy, but if I was an ASU person, I would say the pass catching side of things, like I can't trust anybody else. I know you mentioned Mateer, and I know he's a decent player, but he has 379 receiving yards through 11 games, Kevin. It's nothing to write home about. Arizona has, I mean, I got to see here for a second. Give me one second here. But Arizona has a lot more pass catchers that have more yards than that here on their season. You got Chris Hudson with 645. Well, I guess he only got 2, and 418 from Nunu Watley. But of course, we have Trey Spivey, Chris Hunter, who's had battled injuries a lot, and Luke Wysong, who hasn't gotten a ton of opportunity. I just think U of A has a better, more well-rounded pass catching unit. I think ASU has factor in, Kevin, that those stats include a lot of Jordyn Tyson missed time.
Yeah.
Like Jordyn Tyson's not on the field, and that's still their statistics of their leading receivers. I think that they're good players, but I just think that they're lacking the depth, and that's why I'm going even there. But I will say that, Jordyn Tyson alone, frankly, could be just good enough where he does, in fact, encapsulate that ASU has the advantage here. So this is the one I think I was by far the most iffy on whether or not, Arizona should be tied with ASU in this advantage. But we've been doing this a lot all season long, and a lot of teams have had a better number one guy, but the depth on Arizona has been a little bit more significant. So I'm going tied here. Same thing with the O-line. One thing that is interesting about this offensive line, Kevin, on ASU and U of A, actually, I believe both of those offensive lines are bottom 3 in the conference in sacks allowed at home.
Wow.
So when you go on the road and you look at Arizona and Arizona State's sacks allowed, it's more middle of the pack in this conference. But when you talk about the home games, both teams are allowing tons of sacks at home. Arizona, I believe, is second to last in sacks allowed at home. ASU third to last. So I don't know if that means anything going into this game, but it seems like so far they're an 11-game sample size. U of A has performed better on the road as an offensive line than ASU has at home, which sounds crazy, especially in what's going to be a raucous environment tonight. But that is just the facts. I'm going straight even on both of them, though. I think ASU's run blocking is maybe a little bit better than Arizona's, and Arizona's pass blocking is maybe a little bit better than ASU's. But it's damn close. Going into run defense and pass rush, I believe ASU has 10 more sacks on the season than U of A. Not really that close. They have better, I would say, individual players up front. U of A has done a good job of scheming up pressure from Danny Gonzales all season long, but I think ASU has better individual matchups up front. And then their run defense is the calling card of their defense. They're really good at stopping the run. They struggle a little bit more in pass coverage, but their run defense is really good. And Arizona's run defense, not to say it's bad, but it's more average than it is good even. And that's pretty surprising based off how good Arizona's defense has been this year. So I think Arizona State has the advantage in the run defensive aspect of things, but U of A has a huge advantage in the pass coverage aspect of things. Keith Abney is an unbelievable player, first-round pick in the NFL draft coming up in next April here, but he's a single player. He's not everybody. And Arizona's DBs have been the best in the conference this year. Not sure that's really debatable at this point. Pass coverage for U of A is far and away better. And then here's where controversy might strike, Kevin. Special teams, even two not very good special teams units. ASU has a better kicking game. I think U of A has a better punting game. I expect special teams to play a huge role in this game tonight. I really hope we're not talking about U of A like muffing a punt. That's what I'm going to knock on wood right here. But like I had nightmares of like a muffed punt last night. I really, really did. And I've had a lot of confidence in Luke Wysong since he's been back there at punt returner, but that just feels so ASU U of A. It doesn't even have to be Luke Wysong. It could be like a gunner that is trying to block that the ball bounces and hits him. Like I expect something awful to happen tonight because this is what happens in ASU U of A games. And while I think that you have to say this matchup is even on the road, I think ASU has the advantage from a special team standpoint, especially when you factor in Jesus Gomez versus Michael Salgado Medina.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And I think we can go right into the more controversial one. Coaching we have here as even
Cry.
Stevens.
Cry. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to get out ahead of it right now. Cry, people in the chat. U of A has been a better coach team this season than ASU has. And ASU's, listen, the fact that they're 8-3 with Jeff Sims playing quarterback, phenomenal coaching job. But the offense took a major step back. The defense has been about the same, maybe with a slight step back. And the special teams is still bad. It was bad last season. You fixed the place kicking, but the rest of the special teams sucks. So what coaching has ASU really done this year in terms of like feeling like they're just on top of the world, Kevin? I mean, they had insane expectations going into the year. They've failed to meet those expectations. They're not going to make the Big 12 championship game. Sorry, guys. And it's so how can you say that their coaching has been unbelievable? I think it's been good, but it hasn't been unbelievable. And meanwhile, Arizona's coaching staff was picked to finish second to last, third to last by every reputable outlet in this entire, conference. And they could finish fourth. So I think that you can say that Arizona's had better coaching this year.
I agree with you.
Danny Gonzales has took a unit that was significantly worse than ASU's and made them higher ranked as a defense. Seth Doege, in his first season at Arizona, has a higher ranked offense than Marcos Arroyo did with a Heisman candidate under center. And Brent Brennan, I know that's the part that people are going to say, well, it's Kenny Dillingham versus Brent Brennan. And while that might be fair, what has Brent Brennan done wrong this season? He brought in a ton of new faces. He brought in new coordinators, and he's seemingly hit on all facets of it. So while I might say they have a head coaching advantage, I think coordinators wise, we have the slight edge here.
But Damon, when it's all said and done, who will have the edge on the scoreboard? We have some score predictions to get to. And I will say we did these independently of one another. And when we came to the studio, we actually had the same exact one. Mine would be that one, 28-17 good guys.
Mhm.
I think Danny Gonzalez's defense honestly has a chance to go out there and, as the coaches say, choke them out. I think they have a chance to really make it hard on Jeff Sims. We'll call it the Sims struggle. And I think Arizona gets this one done. Damon, you got 28-20.
I do have 28-20. I think it's going to be a close game. I think both these defenses are just too good for it to not be a close game. But as I said, Kevin, like I want like a 2-possession lead going into the fourth quarter because I think ASU is going to find a way to claw back like they always do. If it's a 1-possession lead, I think we're going to be in a spot where it's potentially tied, or it's going to come down to like a 4th down play in the red zone to tie it. It's going to get nervy. And I think this one's going to be close. But I just think Arizona's a little bit of a better football team. That being said, I do think it's funny. I've been monitoring predictions from everybody. Every U of A reporter, journalist, media member, W for Arizona. Every ASU journalist, reporter, media member for ASU, W for the Sun Devils. There is and you know what? These teams are so close that it makes sense, but there is not a whole lot of objectivity going on in these score predictions from my standpoint. But you know what? We're gonna dive straight first into that as well. I do have some score predictions to read off from the people, Kevin. I of course asked people on Twitter to drop their score predictions, and we'd read them off on the pregame show. And I got way more score predictions than I thought I was going to get. So let's go ahead and get into it. Four Peaks Sports with the very serious edition of 117-3 ASU. Thoughts? 70-7 from Alex Nassif. Funny. I posted a GIF of Homer strangling Bart. Scotty Simpson, 40-31 ASU. Andy Roche, 31-17 Arizona. AZ Ant, a good friend of ours on Twitter, 34-20 Cats. 31-21 White Burrito is a great supporter of this program. Daylight Films, he says Devils win 29-27 on a time expiring field goal. Cats win, it'll be 33-24 with Arizona State scoring a late meaningless touchdown. Jackson, he thinks 28-21 ASU wins. 24-17, doesn't know which, no followers, please, said that. So don't follow him. Sun Devils in a close one, 27-24, Inconvenient Truths, 31-24 from Glenn, of course, beloved ASU fan Glenn, 35-20 Cats, Alexander, ASU 67, Arizona 41 from Drew Peacock. Crazy prediction.
6-7.
Wild. 31-20 ASU. From ASU Phoenix, T. Murphy, Cats 38-22, 24-21, Majin Tai. Sam Leavitt, fan account, one of my favorite ASU burners here on Twitter. Tough to predict, he says. Nothing on paper will matter. He's going to say 27-24, but he thinks it's going to be a hell of a game. Kellen Dew said he hates score predictions, so don't know why I read that off. 28-24 from Patty V, Arizona. And then clicking on the actual post itself here. The PHNX Sun Devils account has taken the Devils here. Shocker. Andy Bryant, 41-21 Cats. Jake Fagus, 35-24 Arizona. Mr. B, 69-2, ASU fan there. 27-28 ASU. Arizona's kicker misses a field goal and an extra point, and the worst team wins. That's what a U of A fan said. He said, and that's kind of what if ASU wins, I agree. That's how it's going to look. There's going to be like a muff punt, a missed PAT, and we're going to be sitting there going, oh my God, how do I have to do a post-game show after this and talk about it? Wildcats 27-24 from our guy Pablo Luis. Arizona 28-17 from Denny Killingham. 34-28 AZ Cats fan. 34-20 from Mark N. Just Wildcats, just some bear downs from K West, JR Albright. 35-17 Arizona. 35-21 Cats. That's from Cayman Hannon, an 87 Cat. 35-17 pick six for the Devils from Mikhail Lane. 27-24 from Sharon, a great diehard of our community, even though she is in fact an ASU fan. 34-31 U of A from Tom B. Sun Devils, of course, from Diane McNelly. Bear down, UA Wildcat. Cats all the way. Pursuit of Happiness. 27-21 from Chuck Gonzales. Bear down from Coach Johnson. 60-7, Kevin, from Peter Perez Cruz. And then we got 23-21 from Stowe. And just some various different gifts and whatnot remaining. Shout out to everybody who participated. We appreciate you guys. Thank you for putting me through the ringer here and getting some work on the vocals, getting these score predictions in. Great to see you guys, interacting with our content and whatnot. We appreciate it so much. And of course, we appreciate you for tuning into this fine program. We got ASU, U of A leading up in just a few minutes here. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and be back for our post-game show 10 minutes after the final play here of the game when the clock hits 0. Hopefully talking about an ASU or a U of A win, because if ASU somehow ends up on top, I don't know how I'm going to get through this post-game show, Kevin, but we'll get there when we get there, and let's have confidence. In the meantime, Arizona State, the 99th ever duel in the desert. It, in fact, means everything. Any last thoughts before we get out of here, Kevin?
No, we just need a W in the worst way. We
absolutely do. And it seems as though winner is going to get the Holiday Bowl. That's what the hot rumor on the streets are. According to Justin Spears, we got Holiday Bowl representatives in the building, boots on the ground for in Tempe for ASU U of A. Winner goes 9-3. Winner most likely gets the Holiday Bowl. Take me to San Diego. Damn. That's all I care about at this point. Let's get this W. It means everything. It's the Super Bowl tonight. Arizona State. Follow me at Damon Doege. That's DOWG. Follow him at Kevo Post. That's KEVOPOSTS. And follow us at PHNX_Wildcats on all socials except for TikTok. We're at AZ Wildcats Pod. Can't wait to talk to you guys on the post-game show. Let's get an Arizona W in this one. And let's have a better record for Brent Brennan than Kenny Dillingham in the Territorial Cup Series. 1-2 versus 1-1. What? That would be electric to talk about on the post-game show. Shout out Kobe for that spin zone there. But hopefully we're talking a U of A W. And of course, in the meantime, we appreciate you guys for watching. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, rate and review on your favorite podcasting platform, and we'll catch you on a post-game show. Until then, peace out, bear down.
And go Cats. Bring the Territorial Cup back where it belongs, damn it.
We all silly like the mayor.